All right, hello, how's it going, everybody? My name is Sawyer. I want to get started because we don't have a ton of time here, but I wanted to talk to you guys today about gamifying our daily stand-up with Minecraft. I'm a developer advocate at Red Hat, and I just want to say, firstly, thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see everybody's faces. And yeah, so let's get started. So, first of all, just going right into it, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about why stand-ups suck. We're going to talk about how we can avoid them. We're going to do a little live demo, which I did end up pre-recording just because we only have 15 minutes, so I just want to make sure everything's in line. We're going to talk about the tech step, and we're going to wrap up, hopefully have some ending thoughts. All right, so what's the problem with stand-up? I mean, okay, I don't know where to start, but we're going to start with these few options right here. First of all your stand-up tools are in completely different places, entirely fragmented, and there's nowhere that you can just have everything in one spot. So, your code's on GitHub, your bug and feature timeline are in Jira, your communication's on Slack, and then, you've got a million other tabs with a bunch of random, useless stuff, most likely. Your cat videos, you're trying to hide from your boss, all that kind of thing. We just want to build cool stuff, but for some reason, that's a difficult task in today's age. So, what can we do? What if we just put it in, the best game ever, Minecraft? I'm sure you guys are here because you know of Minecraft, or your kids know of Minecraft. If not, I don't know what you've been doing for the past 20 years, but anyways, probably, systems engineering or something. Anyways, so we kind of added some interesting functionality into Minecraft right off the bat. We used this plugin framework called Paper to allow for slash commands, and we kind of wanted to make some MCP stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, to actually do cool stuff in the Minecraft chat line. So you can review PRs, you can create issues and tickets, you can ask AI questions through the slash commands, or just talk to it, and all of this is just in-game, which is pretty sick. And as you can see on the right here, the output is in the form of Minecraft books, which I think is genius because, if you're having a stand-up, you got a bunch of books because you're talking to your AI model, just put it in a Minecraft bookshelf, store it somewhere, you can come back to it later. Now, hopefully, the 9 a.m. dev starter pack is not much of a problem. We've all been there, cameras off, mics off, waking up 2 minutes before, the whole classic, dragon slippers or something. Anyways, because now our team stand-up is in this beautiful voxel game right here. So let's kind of see things in action. I'm just going to go right into it. So let's just pull a video. I'm going to talk through it. So very much 2012 vibes here. Start with the clicking and the crouching. But yeah, so I'm just going to play some Minecraft while also talking to the AI. So instantly, I'm just going to ask what's in our repo for this actual project by my wonderful coworker over here, Cedric, and myself. And as you can see, the AI is actually listing all the tools that it's using and listing the files and then going to explain the code. And I'm just getting some wood right here because, that's the first thing you do. All right, and there we go. We've got our first book. So we're looking at, a simple slash command implementation, talking about kind of what's going on through it. And, I should probably keep these books so if you guys want to check them out later, but I keep throwing them away. I run out of inventory space. But then we're going to ask about, what about all the files in the actual repo that are related to deployment? So, making a pickaxe here so I can get some cobblestone. But yeah, so we're listing the files here, same kind of deal, but now we're also looking into specific files related to keywords. So we're looking at the config maps that we're using in our Kubernetes application, the deployment specific stuff, and just now we're going to check Jira to see if there's any open bugs. Hopefully not. And well, I know not because I did this already, but yeah, there's nothing yet because we haven't added anything. Just getting a few tools for more mining and whatnot. But yeah, as you can see, there are no open bugs, and it's able to actually use some tool calls to check that out and everything like that, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's doubting itself because that's just how it's going to work. But let's say, are there any Jira tickets related to login functionality? Let's check the code as well, just to double check. And yeah, so we're checking the code, checking Jira, kind of double checking. No violence here, so I just wanted to get rid of that real quick. But generating a final response, kind of in the same kind of deal. And I got a little sidetracked, so I didn't check the book for a second. But Yep, and so it's going to say, yeah, there's nothing yet. There's not even any login related code in the deployment. And I was like, okay, well, that's not right. We should probably situate that. So could we actually make a Jira ticket to allow for us to do that in the future, implement it in a later time? So it's calling the Jira API, making its tool calls, and then we can, I'll show you guys in a second that it was able to actually make this tool, which is pretty cool. And then let's see what we do next here. Yeah, so this is me asking about the tool or the ticket that we just created. I probably should have blurred that out as well. I'm sorry, you guys. But yeah, so as we said, the ticket we need login implementation. All of this is basically in the description of Jira, and I can show you guys that in a second. My managers are going to hate me for that one, but I asked it to just write the longest story it possibly could. I'm just burning our tokens. But yeah, just curious to see how long it would actually take. And I did speed this up, but it took about 20 seconds to output 15 pages of text about Sir Cedric and his implementation of whatever he was doing that it just managed to come up with. We're building a little smiley face here. And then I'm going to ask for us to change the repo. So now we're just going to show a little bit of the repo GitHub functionality. So I asked it to change to the VLM project, which I'll talk about VLM in a little bit. And so we were able to change the repo. And then I was going to ask, hey, so in the VLM repo, can we also look at all of our open PRs? Not all of them because there are a couple hundred, but it's going to list just a few of the beginnings. And as you can see, it's making the tool calls and everything like that. And the implementation of these tools is relatively tame. It's just as in every other MCP server, you just write a tool definition and then basically inform the model on how to actually access that. So just showing some of the open VLM PRs, if you guys care about that stuff, some cool quantization stuff that's going on. And then, yeah, so you always got to thank the model, waste a little bit more money, your manager's money anyways. But that's that's the little semi-live demo we got going on, which is pretty cool. Let's continue with where we're at though, now that we had a little bit of fun. That's the demo that I guess works. Anyways, so let's take a look at the tech stack because this is a bit interesting. How are we doing this? So we're starting off with our Kubernetes deployment. So we have our OpenShift cluster set up with the backend and the plugin interfacing with each other in two different containers. And OpenShift is really good for this because there's a lot of readily accessible container orchestration tools. There are observability functionalities that are just really easily just set up right there in the logs. As you can see, I'm not very good at coding because my paper plugin has restarted 13 times because I keep crashing it, but we're able to see that, which is pretty cool. Next, we have VLM hosted, which is our inference runtime. VLM is running our Kimi K2.6 model, which is 1.4 trillion, 1.6 trillion parameters, if I'm not mistaken, and that's running on 8 H200s in our cluster, and we're accessing that through models as a service. And VLM is great because it allows for really quick tool calls, which is nice when you're trying to do something in real time. And then finally, we have an MCP server set up that allows for the standardization across all these different API calls and platforms. So why this stack? And this is like the one thing, if you don't take the fact that Minecraft is an awesome game away from this, I want you guys to know that this is a really nice general stack for any sort of agent ops framework that you want to use. So OpenShift can run on multiple different platforms. It's platform agnostic, which means it can run on the cloud. It can run on-prem on bare metal if you guys need it to. You can run it on a single node if you have one graphics card at home, which a lot of people do for running Minecraft servers, actually. But like I said, there's a lot of observability, and there's also consistent professional support from Red Hat as well, which is awesome. VLM is known for its really efficient inference. It's really easy to scale through open source projects like LLMD. And there's huge open source support, so there's always a group of people working towards making this a better product. And then finally, MCP. Everyone knows about MCP. It's awesome. Allows you to standardize the protocol across multiple different API calls and different platforms. And it's portable portable across different models. So when my manager finds out that I spent $2,000 talking in Minecraft, he's going to make me use Gemma 4 or something. Anyways, here's speaking of Gemma, shout out to Gemini for making this. This is kind of the framework that we have going on. It's a nice little visual. But yeah, so the user makes their slash command. It gets sent into our Minecraft server, which is then read by our parser in our custom plugin. It then sends the request to VLM, which will process that. And if it needs to make a recursive call, like look through a GitHub repo that has multiple different subdirectories, it'll call itself over and over again until it makes it to the base level. And then it will make that tool call across back and forth with GitHub, Jira, code search, and then a bunch of other tool integrations that we provided as well, which is cool. And then moving on. So this is kind of the standardized approach for the longest time. You just have a model, and then you have like a million files, each one talking about, talking to the model in a different way using a unique API. And while that's fine and dandy, the second that you get into scaling or just increasing the amount of tools, you're just accruing a huge amount of technical debt through all these custom implementations. So what we decided to do, or what people have decided to do for a few years now at this point, is implement a unified API for making these calls. So that's the value of MCP in this setup, is just allowing the LLM to communicate with the tools in a more standardized and effective way. So why does tool calling matter in the first place? Well, before we had custom integrations for every feature, huge lines of code, and it just wasn't very readable. And now with a unified protocol, we have single definitions, AI figures out how to use the code, the tools, and everything like that. And so here's just an example directly from the code for the PR review, teaching basically the model specifically what you're going to use the tool for, and then providing it in this format. And then we have a second file that actually has the function that implements the Git PR review. So the result is, self-hosted models, inference on a self-hosted platform. You get fast response times. Adding new tools is simple as what I just showed you. You add 3 or 4 lines of code, and then your code that actually calls whatever API you need to, or whatever tool you want to create, even if it's non-API. And then the architecture is as scalable and production-ready as can be, which is pretty awesome. Some key takeaways are that OpenShift handles AI workloads beautifully. OpenShift is a great platform for AI, and it's just increasingly becoming so in its added support. VLM provides you with awesome production-grade inference. MCP and tool calling standardize agentic behavior. I said this stack can provide just about anyone with a plug-and-play agentic framework for any project that they want to do or workload, and it's not just for Minecraft. Minecraft is just kind of a nice way to explain it all. So you can try it out yourself. Here's a link to our GitHub repo if you guys want to look at the implementation. It's pretty cool, and it's all up there and free to use for sure. Deployment works with Kubernetes and VLM or any other OpenAI endpoint that you can just switch the link to. That's also the link to the server. If any of you have Minecraft and want to join, you can take a picture of that. I'll keep the server up until my manager gets mad at me, but probably like 1 or 2 more days. And then, so the stack can provide people with just a plug-and-play framework. And all you have to do is you can even take the code that we have and just strip away most of the functionality and add it to whatever you want to do. But there's a pretty standardized approach for doing so. So, I appreciate you guys for your time. I know it was a lot of information really quickly, but thank you guys so much. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer. Thank you. Sure.
How do you communicate with your team members? Do you have voice over IP or WebRTC or something?
Yeah, so actually communicating with the team members is pretty simple, as they are all able to join the Minecraft server too. It's hosted on our cluster. So we'll get people just to join our server, and we can just talk and chat. But you can always do Slack huddles, probably the closest other thing. But maybe some voice implementation would be cool. I know they got some mods for that, so maybe that's the next step. So I appreciate that. That's cool. Cool. Well, all right. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it.